welcome to another episode of Spirit Juice No Additives. Well, why is this doing this? This is a whole new setup. The phone updated and it's doing some things. But anyway, let's read our 199 promises of God so we can direct our path as far as we want to acknowledge Him in all things. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Okay, Deuteronomy 11:15. Okay, that might be a good sign. This is going to be a good one. But anyway, I want to come on here and certain things that I just be thinking about, y'all. And I can't get Miss Robbie out of my mind. She appears to have gone through so much with Tim. This ain't her first time at the rodeo. He was in prison for 10 and a half years for armed robbery. And not to forget all the little antics he get himself into and his attitude gets him into. I cannot imagine losing a child, Tim's brother, at such an early time in his life. And then I just got this one son. So I'm going to dote on him. I'm going to protect him. I'm going to make sure he don't end up like his brother, right? I'm just going to say this. It might not be popular, but it's hard for a woman to raise a man. Because even though he's her last, there has to be structure. There has to be discipline. When you're raising a man, I have a son, you can't, women see it as, okay, they can dote on them and, and they got, mama's boys have mama's heart. My goodness. Lucky I wasn't one of those. But that's a lot of work raising boys. Raising them to be men. And that's something you have to keep in the forefront, that I'm not raising a girl. I'm not raising a woman. I'm raising a man, okay, in this tough world that we live in. So things that he might want to get away with, he ain't, okay? And I have to bring the law down on him up in here. I got to make sure he is respectful. He respects authority. He do what he's supposed to do. He's mannerable. There's so many things. And he has a good work ethic, that he's just not laying around taking advantage and not doing anything, which is easy to get caught up in this day and age where kids are just on their games and on their phones. I don't know, with Miss Robbie, to have everything end up this way because of her son is a major sign that she wasn't hard enough on Tim. I'm gonna keep saying that you're raising a man, you're not raising a boy. Men try to kind of bully their way through life. They can, if they have that mentality, and Tim definitely had that mentality. Like, okay, I'm gonna get what I want at any cost. And instead of Miss Robbie taking opportunities for corrections, I know she talks and barks and, tell him what's right and wrong, but she got to show him what's right and wrong. And his love of money would have been a good opportunity for her to show him, okay, I'm going to run this. This is mine. She had to take him to court. It wasn't enough that she said, stop doing it. Now, even though I'm 54, my mom passed away, I want to say in 2011, but I had a lot of respect for my mom and a lot of fear for my mom, even though I know she can't beat me, but I know I can't beat her. So if she want to beat me, I guess I gotta let her. Oh my goodness. It's just crazy. But I had a lot of respect. because she at one point she didn't take nothing off of us. She let us be kids, but at the same time, you got to do. She was the only parent. You got to do what I tell you to do, not what everybody else tell you to do. Do what I say do. And if I don't give it to you, you don't deserve it to have it. So don't ask nobody for nothing. I bet not see anything that somebody done gave you. Things like that. She was just really strict on the boys. Now, I had one sister, so she didn't get it as hard as we did, but she did get it because my mom didn't play. And we went out running the street and all of that. But poor Miss Robbie, everybody is saying, but I think, I'm just going to say it. I think, there were some opportunities where she had with Tim, even though I think she should have played it the opposite way as far as, and it's hard to say what should have been done. But then you look at the end results and you know how it was done. And it wasn't done right. She wasn't as hard on Tim as she needed to be, for him to avoid doing some of the deceitful, evil, heinous things that he did. And the apple don't fall from the tree. And I always say that, and I always believe that from my gut. And that love for money came from Miss Robbie. And I look at the fact that when she called Andre, and the way the family explained it after the verdict, outside on the steps to the news people, they was like, she went off on him. She said, don't come to my funeral and I won't come to your funeral, and things that you would never imagine Miss Robbie saying over some money. I was like, wow, it's so easy for her to think that her grandson Andre did this to her, and he don't even know those kind of people. I don't think, to the point where he's make a call and everybody come running. That's Tim. A lot of people know him from jail, and a lot of people know him to have been in jail for 10 and a half years. That's a lot of clout on the street. But just hearing some of the things and how they had him living in St. Louis or Missouri was kind of sad. And it says a lot about her. Now, she was portrayed on TV like she just loved this kid. And this was my son's only child. And from the conditions that his own family said, they said they was sitting there listening to her on the phone, going off on Andre. And then they also said to the media that they had him living in a shack. Like, and I'm like, that. Now that ain't right. I don't think so. At any cost, they could have stayed. I mean, he could have stayed with Miss Robbie, I know. They said she didn't. He didn't. He stayed in that shack. And I was like, well, why would Andre want to leave all of that? Because it wasn't what we thought it was or should be. There's another side to Miss Robbie. And I hate to be jumping on an 80-year-old woman, but this is a learning opportunity for a lot of women who are raising boys. Now, I had, my best friend, during the course of our friendship, she done had 6 boys. All boys, 6 boys, one after the other. And we lived together. So I pretty much raised these kids from birth. And she used to get mad because I was kind of rough with them, or, I'm like, look, these boys will push you to the limit and be calling you all out your name if you let them get away with it. So you can't afford, if you want them to be raised right and do what they're supposed to do and be productive members of society, then you have to put your feet on their neck sometime. Because if they're not going to listen to you, they ain't going to listen to nobody. But they listen to me. And my son listened to me. He didn't want me to come on the scene. But it's sad that she lost everything. In her old age, she ain't got nothing to leave her grandson or him. She probably going to live off whatever she got left. She only had one store in Mississippi. She had to close all the other ones. This is not a good look for Miss Robbie. And this is not what she dreamed, I imagine, she would be at 80 years old. But this is a lesson to be learned by, black women raised in black sons. Um, when you let them have too much leeway, some boys, you got to stay on them. You got to stay on them or they're going to stay on you and end up being in society hurting someone. Let's move on to Wendy Williams and Kevin. These are things I think about, guys. Now, I'm like, something ain't right here in the buttermilk. I thought, like everybody else, okay, poor Wendy. She's being cheated on in public. And he doing her wrong. He be beating on her and this and that and this and that and this and that. Now, I've been hearing, well, when she had a long run on her show. A long run. It was only after she got that divorce from Kevin that things started falling apart. She couldn't stay out of the rehab. When he started taking his attention towards that woman, he was the glue that was holding Wendy together. She's been very open about her drug use and her alcoholism. She used to say in one interview, she said that she used to hold herself up in the room. And I'm an alcohol and drug counselor, so I know the alienation that, addicts go through because they want to do their drugs. It was just all of Kevin's power and effort to get her on the stage and keep her upright and not showing up drunk and out of control. So we say poor Wendy, and Wendy ate that up. But now that Kevin's gone, you kind of see what's what. She hasn't been able to hold it together since. I don't know how many hiatus she done took where, she just, stopped showing up. So things ain't never what we think it is because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But you notice she didn't talk about him too often when he left because they had an agreement. And she didn't want to just tell it like it is and say, hey, this man, I need him because he keeps me together and get me out on that stage so I can make this money and entertain people and, make this brand, keep this brand together. Left up to Wendy's devices, will it pan out just the way it's panning out now? With her somewhere drunk and can't walk and just delirious and out of her mind. So I question Kevin as far as what made him think, as popular as Wendy is, what made him think he can get away with that? Because Wendy knew. Wendy knew, and she had to go along with it because she needed Kevin. But once he brought that baby home, she was like, oh no. Now you took it too far now. We ain't had that in the deal. That was probably her one stipulation. Because up until then, she didn't have too much to say. And we over here, we good in Huntersville. So, I don't know. I just feel like Kevin took the rap. And he's still taking the rap. He hasn't came out and said, this is how Wendy was. Because they have a child. But from what I see, he kept it together. It made him look wrong by having this woman out in public. But Kevin doesn't strike me as an idiot person or a stupid person. He ain't doing this when Wendy is his butter, bread and butter. My goodness. He ain't going to be out on the town where paparazzi can see him and people, just everywhere and Wendy fans in every state. Oh my goodness, every city. No, I refuse to believe that. They had an agreement. As long as you don't bring no babies up in here, you're fine. I pretend like I don't see it. And he was doing his job, keeping her well put together so she could do the show. It's only when Wendy let him go, they fell apart. Yes, indeed. Now, who else I want to talk about? Who is this Jaguar Wright? Who is that? I'm like, why she got such a license? Where'd she get the license from, y'all, to be running her mouth like she do? She talking about Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, Diddy, um, just who she ain't talking about. Ain't nobody no good to her. She done seen it all and ain't did nothing. She been up close to it, but she didn't do it. I don't know. But I don't understand why some of these other people that expose get shut up and she's still around here flapping her gums. I'm like, my goodness, why she ain't being sued? That's what I really want to come on here and talk about. Why is this woman ain't being sued? Maybe she's telling the truth. Because some of the things she's saying about Alicia Keys and Jill Scott and Mary J. Blige, I mean, Diddy, just putting them all out there. Confirming what has already been put out there on, certain people. Well, Jill Scott, I didn't know that, anything about Jill Scott, but I knew something was kind of shady with Alicia Keys by her taking somebody else's husband. And Mary J. Blige, I really didn't hear much about her until Jaguar. I know she was in an abusive relationship at one point, but Jaguar just gave us all the juice. My goodness. And I'm just wondering where she get the license to do so and why she haven't been sued. Maybe y'all can tell me in the comments, because she's telling the truth. She ain't worried about getting sued. Now, Tasha K should have been a cautionary tale for her, but she's still talking. I just seen something today they just posted about Jaguar and she talking about everybody. I'm like, I don't know what's in store for her down the road, but she is doing a lot of exposing. And have me looking at these people different because ain't nobody suing her. Or I don't know if she got anything to be sued for. I didn't know she sing. But I don't know. I just never seen her. Maybe she looked different. I don't know. But she got a lot of guts. A lot of courage. She's exposing Hollywood and the music industry. I don't know. But I ain't going to take y'all too much longer here. I thank you for coming and spending some time with me on Spirit Juice No Additive. We got 139 subscribers. Yay! Let's get to that 500 mark here soon. I like doing this. I like talking to people. I want to get to the point where we taking calls and live streaming and you guys asking questions and things of that nature. Support the channel so we can get more stuff, so we can have a better quality of time together. My Cash App is $Spirit Juice 51. That's $Spirit Juice 51. I'm 54, but it's 51. So, if you guys want to drop some dollars so I can get a charger for my camera, get my little studio stuff all set up and in place, that'd be great. But if not, just show up. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.